Let's talk The Bad Batch. Season
Bad Batch.
2. Episodes 1 and 2. Like I said earlier, the spoils of war, the ruins of war. I mean, overall,
So
they were good episodes.
they were, yeah.
They were.
Overall, they were pretty good. One thing that I was a little confused about is the fact that they did divide these up into two separate episodes. I don't know if there was a rhyme or a reason for that, since they were going to show them anyway. I don't. Maybe the original plan wasn't to show the both of these episodes as part of the premiere, and maybe that was that decision was made after the fact, after the editing had been done to divide them. But I really liked the way that the initial premiere of the first season was done, where they almost treated it like a movie. It was like a 90-minute long thing, and they got all of the information out that they needed to. We've talked about this with the other Star Wars shows and everything on Disney Plus. That one of the things that I like that they're able to do with it being a streaming service is they're not relegated to making it fit within a certain TV show time frame in order to fit time slots for commercials and everything. They generally will make the episodes as long or as short as they need to for the story. And I think they should have done that with this and actually extended it to like just one long combined episode rather than splitting it for no reason.
See, I wonder if the reason they did it was because they said you get 16 episodes, but we're not letting you do any hour episodes. So they might have had more stuff planned out, but because they had to break these two up, because it did seem like one episode, quite honestly. It
Yeah.
seemed like one big thing. And the fact they showed them on the same day
Hmm?
did seem a bit odd. But I wonder if, because we've heard that, occasionally they will say, you have this many episodes, but only this much time, too. You can go as long as you want with each episode, perhaps, but it's only so long. And that's the only reason I can see it, because it was one episode.
Oh, so you think this might have been like studio meddling?
Correct.
Okay,
Like
yeah, I
they
guess that
made-
makes sense.
Like they give them like all right, here's 16 episodes and you have 480 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, because it just picked up and left off right in the middle, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's like having a cliffhanger from week to week.
Mhm.
You know,
I'm just glad they had the
I
next
like-
episode, because if it would have stopped where that first
Yeah.
episode stopped and I had to wait a week, I would be. Well, we'd have more we'd have more what's next to talk about, but I'd be like, come on, we gotta
That
see
would have been
what's
so
going on.
dumb. I would have been like, come on, guys, really?
yeah. When they were talking about Omega's studies and stuff, and while she's on the mission, and I'm just like, oh, spoiler alert! By the way, spoiler, there will be spoilers tonight.
Yes. If you have
He
not
was,
seen
like-
episode 1 and 2 of The Bad Batch, be warned. We are talking spoilers. We're going to spoil the shit out of the show.
When she's studying, and he says you have to keep your studies up, even though we're on a mission. I was thinking, well, that's a little cheap foreshadowing, because that's going to come up in the show. It's like it wasn't
Kind
very
of
subtle.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It
She
was
was studying ships, and her knowledge of ships helped them out later.
Right. It just like almost immediately later.
Yeah.
So,
Also, speaking of that, I do like the fact that their idea of studying is probably stuff that they learned as clone soldiers. No, we don't need to learn, math or reading or, the history of the galaxy. No. You need to learn war tactics and ship designs.
hey, it works.
I mean, it,
that's
does,
the bread for that specific purpose.
it must be doing some good, because last season, all she did was get captured by everybody.
Yeah.
In this season, I mean, when they were running and she got into trouble, she saved herself, basically.
Yes.
I mean, that
now
was
a
nice to
very
see.
active participant.
She
Yeah,
looks
she didn't panic.
she looks older. I don't know. Did we ever find out like what time frame between the season finale of that and the season, like how much time elapsed? Because she seems older. Her hair's longer. She just seems like more mature. Like she's been with these guys for a while now and is more comfortable, honestly.
I don't know if
Yeah.
we ever figured that out. I do know that back when we were doing our What's Next episodes for Bad Batch Season 1, we were talking about, we were questioning, rather, trying to theorize whether Omega and Boba Fett were created around the same time, because they call Boba Fett the Alpha. He's he's the first one in line, and apparently him and Omega are the only two supposed pure clones with enough of the genetic data from Jango Fett. Like they're unaltered. And that's what allows them to be children.
Do you think, while I was watching this episode too, speaking of Boba Fett and her being the unaltered clones, do you think they're doing a little test on environment being grown up in? Like she's growing up basically with the Bad Batch. They're basically teaching her kind of right from wrong, how to do the right things. With how Echo was talking in this episode, it seems like they're going to be joining the rebellion in some way. You know, they need to do more to help people, all that stuff. Where Boba Fett grew up with bounty hunters, and he had a certain code. Do you think that they're showing that, even though they grew up different ways, they're both going to come and basically have the same, what is the word I'm looking for? You know, values as adults. And even though they grew up in totally different, you know, climates with different people, they're still kind of the same person. Because we saw Boba Fett in the book of Boba Fett. You know, he wanted to do the right thing. Even in The Mandalorian, when he said, when Grogu got captured, he wasn't like, suck it, dude. You know, you're off and on. He goes, I'm basically with you until we get that child back because I said I would. You know, he's a very honorable person, and I think we're going to see Omega kind of be the same way, even though they grew up in totally different environments.
Yeah, it's just a core value that both of them share.
And that bow. I'm sorry, I know this is going to be a total nerd alert. But oh, I just played the nerd by Homer. I don't know if you guys can hear it.
Okay. No, I can't hear it.
But that bow reminds me so much of the energy bow from the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. It makes me love it even more. When she's like firing away, I'm just like, yes, get those crabs, get them, Omega.
Okay, glad you brought it up. Let's talk weapons because we questioned.
Let's dive in.
We questioned this the first season of Bad Batch. I remember I want to say it was like either the second to the last or the last episode when they were trying to save that they're trying to save somebody. He was like a prime minister of some planet or whatever, and we noticed that they had their blaster set to stun, and we weren't sure. We were trying to theorize why they would do that. Because we noticed that they were still stunning stormtroopers too, not just clones. Like there didn't seem to be any real rhyme or reason. And then here we go. Come season 2, I'm waiting to see. Okay, what are they going to do? They've got their blaster set to stun, but Omega, I don't think there's a stun on that bow. I'm pretty sure she's murdering people. Good soldiers follow orders.
I don't think it's technically murder. It's self-defense. These
Sure.
people are trying to
Okay,
kill
you
her
can call
too.
it what you want. She's killing. Either way. But I have to wonder, and here's my new updated theory on that. I think the reason why it's so difficult for them to make the choice to kill is because they've never had to. They've never been in a situation where they had to take the life of something living. If you think about it, all of these clones were brought up and trained to destroy robots. And so even when they were on that initial mission, when the Empire had been fully realized, and the Bad Batch was sent on that mission to go after Saw, they said, I'm not seeing any clankers, I'm not seeing any signals from them, but I am seeing these heat signatures, and they were taken aback when they saw living people, and they're like, whoa, hold up, this isn't what we do. And so I think maybe they're still conditioned to really only be comfortable with destroying robots, not taking living lives, if that makes sense.
Wait, are you telling me that tank cannon that Wrecker had was set to stun?
And I don't think that was. I was going to bring that up. There is some inconsistencies with that. So, for the majority of the time, they do use stun on their blasters. that tank can. But I didn't see him actually shoot any person with it. He seemed to be aiming for the rocks and everything around them.
Now
Like
let
he
me
was
ask.
causing, like he was causing like rock slides and stuff.
Now let me ask you this:
Oko.
All right.
possible what's next? Do you think we're going to get to a point in the Bad Batch where they start turning off the stun and using the actual, the blaster to kill? Because it comes to a certain point where they realize, maybe the clones are no longer stormtroopers. Because we know that Tarkin wants to get rid of the clones because they're expensive, yada, 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 and he wants to get the conscripts in. We saw that in season 1, and we know that they destroyed Camino at the end of season 1. So there's really no more clones. Are they going to get to a point where they make a conscious decision that, you know what, we're not doing ourselves any favors by just stunning these people? Because it's just, they get back up and they keep coming after us. Because we've seen it so much. Like, they are always on stun when they have their own blasters.
Personally, I don't think so, but I've got like a really boring reason as to why. Going back to what you were talking about before with like studio meddling with episode time, I think that's a lot of what it is, because I remember there was a lot of discussion around the Book of Boba Fett as to why they weren't letting him be his normal ruthless bounty hunter self, and he seemed a lot nicer and he seemed a lot more caring and things like that. I have, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have a feeling this is Disney's way of saying, look, the Bad Batch is supposed to be the heroes. We can't have them, going around and ruthlessly killing. That's poor values. This is a family show. So, while the majority of the people watching it may be older Star Wars fans, we want to bring in the younger Star Wars fans. And in order to show that these are the good guys, we got to let them know that good guys don't kill. That's what I assume it really is, unfortunately. And I wish they would look back to the Clone Wars and realize that, like
Why that show was popular is because it wasn't for kids. It may be animated, but it's certainly not for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Family Guy.
Right, absolutely. The one thing I was laughing at, well, it was great that they went to Count Dooku's home planet.
Mm-hmm.
His, treasure trove, the fact that, we've been getting a lot more Count Dooku backstory between Tales of the Jedi and now this. We know Sorrento, he was like a king of that planet. Or at least he was in the royal line before he got taken away to be a Jedi and stuff. And he ended up leaving the Jedi Order to go back and rule, and that's when he became a Sith. We saw his castle again. We saw, and it made sense. This guy led the Separatists, well, even though he was working with, Darth Sidious. But he has all these spoils of war, and it really was nice to see that the Empire wanted it, obviously. They have an empire to run. But, Sid was smart enough to send the Bad Batch out there because, hey, you guys could have a good life with this. With my cut, when the Empire does come to Ord Mantell, I'll be safe too. And it was nice. I mean, we saw so much interaction. We saw, Omega, after hearing Echo's statement that we're in this because of her, really wanting to get that treasure and putting herself in danger because she thought it would free the Bad Batch, even though it was nice that Echo had more of a role, and Tech. They were kind of a lot more fleshed out this season than they have been. But you're seeing, Echo evolving. You're seeing Echo kind of evolving. You're seeing Tech do a little more, and you're seeing Omega realize what these people have sacrificed to save her, and they're all kind of gonna work together to hopefully have a better life for all of them. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to end well for any of them. But it looks like they're gelling and understanding each other, and it was nice to see.
I was even a little surprised at Wrecker. I did not expect him to be able to rewire the that tank gun. I was surprised that he always comes off as, look, I'm just a frontline guy. I'm the infantry. I know how to shoot. And I know how to punch, and that's what I do. So when he ripped that thing off and he like automatically knew, okay, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna rewire it here, and then I can shoot it this way, and it's like, oh, okay, I didn't know he knew how to do that.
The only thing I can think of, I don't know how how many times you had to take apart your M16A2 rifle when you were in the Army, but we had to take it apart 70 times a day.
Several times. However, I never had to take apart the barrel of an Abrams tank. So,
but the fact
and then
that
rewire it to shoot while holding it.
right, but I just think that they learned a lot of weapons activity and all of that. You know, they understood how to use, even though it was a separatist tank, they kind of understood how to use it. So I think they did have a lot of weapons training and everything else that, you know, it was nice to see Wrecker, like you said, be a little more than just a punch.
They gotta know, they gotta know what the weaknesses are. They gotta know how to disable it. So yeah, I would, you know, and it goes back to Omega reading that that book. You know, it's emphasizing the whole episode, really.
The only thing,
and, you know, there's a few things in this episode that were like, you know, hit me with like who the people were, like that dude who was on. I think he was on the second show, the one who was in the woods and he saw them. I think that was Hector Elizondo. I think that was his voice. And then the lady with Sid in the first episode, was that Wanda Sykes?
It was Wanda Sykes.
I think so.
It was. And I want to talk about her because I even though Sid said I trust her, she's still a pirate. That's another person that knows about the Bad Batch, who they work for in Ord Mantell and where they, you know, operate out of. That's never a good idea. That's the first thing I thought of. If she gets to the point, you know, she's a pirate. If the Empire corners her, she's not going to, you know, sacrifice herself for the Bad Batch or Sid. She's going to be like, oh, the Bad Batch, Clone Force 99? Yeah, they're working for Sid in Ord Mantell. And I think that may be a plot line somewhere in this season, or if they have extra seasons that, you know, she sold them out for her own benefit. She's not just going to go, well, she might if there's enough, if she sees a huge reward for it, she might. But I thought it was very odd that Sid was willing to give that information. She didn't have to tell Fee who her top team was, but she did. And I think that's going to come back to haunt them.
Well, they're going to have to deal with the Martez sisters then.
No, they're not. Dave, don't even say that. That's like
That'll
Doug
be
buying a
next week's
freaking
episode.
popcorn.
What's next? The Martez sisters.
That's like Doug buying a freaking popcorn tin from the movie we're seeing that night.
A bad omen.
I hope they learn their lesson and are like, nah, we're not having the Martez sisters back.
Yeah, no.
Joke's on you. We've already filmed the episode.
They're showing up in Ahsoka. They're showing up in The Mandalorian season 3.
God. The live action Martez sisters. What
Some-
everybody's been clamoring for.
Somehow they're
They've got
showing
their
up
own-
into Acolyte.
Yeah,
Wait, that's
they've
hundreds
got
of
their
years
own
prior.
trilogy coming out after episode 9.
It's the Rian Johnson trilogy. It's all about the Martez sisters.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
but
he's been
what
picturing
will
this
be
whole
the
time.
twist?
What a twist.
What's the Ryan Johnson twist of the Martez sisters? Are they also secretly Palpatine's cousins or something?
Ooh, that would be good.
They're directly related to Jar Jar Binks. Oh,
Oh,
glitching
okay.
again, Doug.
Huh?
You're glitching again.
Oh, I don't know why.
Did you take the blue pill?
Yeah, you don't take the blue pill, man.
Absolutely. The other
So-
thing that
Oh, like the-
the other thing
Okay.
I want to talk about that kind of made me say about the episode.
Okay.
Tech broke his femur.
Yeah.
He was still able to move around
150
quite nice.
kilograms.
He was
He was shattered.
yeah,
It
shattered.
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't broken. It could be no fractured. He said so. It was fractured, so it was not completely broken.
And he
So
was
that's
able
like-
to fight a guy and take it over. It's okay that he got injured. I think that's fine. But what they had him do after that just seemed, unless his armor helps a little bit, I guess. While I was watching, I was kind of like, they probably could have done something better than have him take out the guard and all that. You know, sit him in front of that machine gun thing and take out the plane, fine. But having him fight a guard one-on-one with a fractured femur doesn't make much sense to me. But it didn't ruin the overall episode. I just questioned that choice.
This isn't the first time that they've done something like that. In the first season movie, what's his name? Who's the sniper?
Crosshair.
Crosshair shot Wrecker, and generally, usually when somebody gets shot in Star Wars, one of those blaster bolts does some serious damage. Usually, one shot from that will usually kill somebody. And it was surprising that Crosshair shot Wrecker, and Wrecker was like just kind of disabled for a little while. I think they sprayed some Bacta on him, and he was like good to go for the next episode. And it's like, okay, I get that you've got to have a certain level of plot armor for like the main characters, but come on.
Well, they are enhanced clones. They do have more power and strength than other clones. Maybe they built some
Plot armor.
not like Wolverine or anything, but maybe they got a little more regenerative powers.
Maybe it's their armor. Yeah.
They got better armor than a normal clone trooper.
Well, they never take it off.
They never do.
Ew.
Gross.
That'll be episode 3. What's a bath? Never seen one of these.
What the hell? You mean I'm supposed to submerge in water?
You know, and even though they lost out on all that treasure, which I thought was good, if they would have somehow managed to steal a bunch of it off from them.
No, Keith. You've got to say the word that they repeated 84 times in that episode. War chest. We lost the war chest. We got to get the war chest. Come on, we got to get the war chest. Oh no, the war chest. I swear to God, if Omega was going to say war chest one more time, I was going to reach into the TV and strangle her.
Now, would you say the real treasure was the friends they made along the way?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the real war chest
were the friends they made along the way.
But then again, you know, the whole episode I was thinking, okay, this is kind of an Andor thing. They're going to get a bunch of money, and it's going to help them fund, you know, one of the wings of the rebellion. I can't remember all the ones that, what's his name, said from Andor. Saw Gerrera said, there's separatists, there's blah, blah, you know.
There's the partisans, there's a bunch of different ones.
That would have helped fund it. So I was a little shocked that they ended up not getting any, but it was, I think, the better route to go for the episode. It'll just be nice now, you know.
Echo knew that they weren't going to get away with the money because what's her name specifically told them, you know, hey, if you get this is going to set you for like the rest of your lives. You're never going to have to run a job again, and well, then the show would be over. So,
but I thought they were going to take the money and do like Andor and help fund the rebellion. Like Echo was going to be like, we cannot just go live on Miami Beach planet.
I don't
like
know
Andor.
that they're aware of the rebellion yet.
No, but he keeps saying we got to do more to help people. The Empire is bad. We got to do more to help people, because this is, you know, right after the forming of the Empire Galactic, whatever it is. And I think Echo is going to convince the rest that, hey, you're right, we need to do more. And they may either start their own rebellion cell, or they're going to join another one at some point.
Well,
only because they do know how terrible the Empire is. And we saw evidence of how bad the Empire is. I like how sometimes they just make anyone who is like full blown in the Empire just be so incredibly terrible. Rampart killing Wilco because he wouldn't modify. We can't have Clone Force 99 in that report because
I was just getting ready to ask if that was a clone that we knew.
Yes, he's been in other Clone Wars episodes.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
And it's funny because you kind of get the hint that he's kind of like, man, are we doing the right thing with the Empire through that episode? Mm-hmm. Even though he was still hunting Clone Force 99 and doing all that. At the end, when he's finally like, I'm not going to falsify an official report. Mm-hmm. He's like, that's okay, I will. You know, and shoots him in broad daylight, have him fall off the thing. I was like, I wonder if any other clones saw that. And I wonder if that's going to be.
Out there all by himself.
But it was open area enough. Someone could have seen him fall. I wonder if this is going to be the start of a clone rebellion of some type. We know they're already getting replaced as stormtroopers. Could it be something where they start coming together, and the rebel cell that the Bad Batch kind of bring together is a bunch of former clones who see how terrible the Empire is.
That could be. That could be. You know, I wonder where exactly is the line of their chips? Like, where does it go from good soldiers follow orders to I'm a good soldier if I do the right thing? Like, I wonder where that line gets drawn within their programming, because it got me thinking about the whole Order 66 thing. We've seen it used in the Darth Vader comics against other clones, that anytime somebody says it, it'll automatically activate the chip and they'll go insane looking for any Force users and start trying to kill them. And it was used on clones against, what are they called? Inquisitors.
Yeah.
Because they happen to be Force users as like a distraction.
And former Jedi.
Right. So it makes me wonder, how deep is the programming, where to the point where you said his name was Wilco?
Wilco, yeah.
Yep.
Wilco, how he can decide, no, I'm not going to do what you say, even though you are higher in the chain of command, and you would technically be in charge of me. I'm not going to do what you say because I know that that's wrong. And also, in the episode where we had Hera in the first season, they also, some of the clones wouldn't shoot them, wouldn't shoot Hera and her parents, and, they're like, no, that's wrong, we can't do that. And you could see, like, there was clearly some of the clones are like, yeah, no, that's not cool, that's not right.
And I think that comes back...
They were programmed to be honorable, and then they're going to be honorable because they were fighting on a side that had no deception beforehand. And then when they did Order 66... Now, my question is, with Order 66... How early did they say that was implanted in them? From birth?
Well, they're not really born the same way. The clones were made and aged to like adult, and then the chip was implanted.
Right. So, but was that there from the beginning, the very beginning, or did they? Because if it was, why did
part
they
of
kill
that
Anakin?
first set of programming? Is I believe what was implied.
Yeah, but they didn't kill Anakin because they didn't say
kill
Order
him?
66. It wasn't turned on yet. Because remember, the one
Anakin
chip
still survived after that. He was still Darth Vader. He was still a Force user, and they still saw him.
I don't think they
why
knew it
was
was
it-
Anakin Skywalker. They just knew him as Darth Vader, this Sith Lord who was,
Force
with-
user, though. That's
But-
what you just said, a Force user.
But it was
This
only
could just be writers, then. Dave, to simplify it, this could be, for the sake of the story that they were telling in those comics, they needed the Order 66 to be triggered whenever they want, and to also allow them to go after any Force users.
But no, remember they didn't go after Vader in that comic. When they went after the Inquisitors, who were former Jedis. And it was known, and that's
so
how
it's only former Jedis.
I think it's anyone who has been alive with the
Jedi
Jedi Order.
Willing to go after Ahsoka because she was still a former Jedi,
Yes,
and Anakin doesn't count as a former Jedi.
he does if they knew it was Anakin Skywalker in that armor. Because not a lot of people knew that. Because remember, Reva told Obi-Wan that, thinking he didn't know, because very, very few people knew that Darth Vader was former Jedi Anakin Skywalker.
And I think, Dave, were you getting at when he was wearing just his cloak before he had the armor? When they were
when he was doing
killing
killing
young
all
ones?
the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
does
good
he just turn around and say, here's my card, I switched to the dark side. You know?
Right.
I mean,
no, guys, it's cool. It's cool.
oh, it's cool, man, I got a card.
I'm not a traitor. I'm still
the Emperor.
I'm not a traitor. I'm
I
still
got the
working
66
with
vaccine.
I'm still working with Palpatine. I'm not a traitor. Okay, let's go kill some younglings.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Let's kill some kids.
Right.
He's on the right side. He wants to kill kids. Let's go.
All right, I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. But, the one thing I wanted to say too, all of these clones kind of coming to realize, that chip is no longer spewing out Order
Yeah,
66 every
something.
minute, but they're starting to learn and see because of who they are. And, it's Jango Fett's DNA, and what they have is what's right and what's wrong. They're seeing that the Empire is wrong. And if they find out that Wilco was killed because he wouldn't falsify a report, that's going to turn a lot off. As they get more and more brutal, as they get farther and farther away from Order 66, they're going to start realizing, no, maybe we're the bad ones. and they need to do the right thing. But there's obviously always going to be some like Crosshair who, I took my chip out long ago. I just think the Empire's right. I think there's always going to be some of those, but I think the majority of clones are going to realize that the Empire is not a righteous force in the galaxy.
I am actually surprised that the Empire didn't just simply do away with all the clones, like, after they no longer needed them. Like, when they phased them out in favor of stormtroopers. Like, in the Obi-Wan series, we saw the one who was, you know, a homeless veteran collecting coins in his helmet. Super depressing.
That was very sad.
We remember from Rebels how, you know, those clones kind of, like, commandeered an AT-AT, and they were living in that, and, you know, kind of, just chilling out in the desert or whatever, and doing their thing. Like, so I do find that idea a bit surprising, that the Empire just wouldn't eliminate the problem, especially after seeing this episode of The Bad Batch, where, oh, look, I'll just shoot this clone because otherwise he'll reveal information and make me look bad. But the Empire as an entire entity didn't eliminate the clones. They just were like, okay, we don't need you anymore, I guess here's your retirement package or something.
Well, you got to think, too, they got to keep clones around while they build up the conscripted army.
But I'm saying after the fact.
Yeah, I don't think they cared. I think Palpatine just didn't see them as a threat of any kind. Now, if they started forming together, maybe he would be like, okay, we got to go wipe those out.
That's what I'm wondering, if that's going to happen next. Are they going to start banding together and do what you're thinking and form like an actual rebel cell of like clones?
If they do, I think that's when the pressure from the Empire heats up on them, because, you know, the Bad Batch, or Clone Force 99, is already known by the Empire, and Rampart not, you know, willing to kill a clone in the open like that to hide the fact that they're still alive, and he didn't, you know, kill them. We know from the comics how Tarkin treats people who fail him.
Yep.
And he basically told Tarkin, they're dead, and they're not. So when that comes out, I think Tarkin is going to have a nice long talk with Dave's boy Rampart. Because they're alive, and they're a problem for the Empire, and that's why the Empire wants them so bad, where maybe other clones like Rex and the ones that were living on that desert planet weren't as much of a threat. So, you know, they're like, if you see them, we'll take care of them, but we're not wasting, you know, any time and energy to find them, because they're not really that big of a problem.
Yep.
Because we know at some point, we assume the Bad Batch is no longer, I don't think they're going to get a retire. I don't think they're going to be living on, you know, some desert planet, hunting giant worms for food. I think, unfortunately, they're going to, what was the term? Hold on one sec.
But isn't Rex going to be on this season?
He is, yes. But I do believe it's going to be, I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see from Andor. I think it's going to be like that. I think they're going to be willing to make it better in the galaxy and them not live to see it. I don't think they're going to be the ones that get to retire, but they're going to be heroes of the rebellion in some way.
Yeah. Well, to somebody anyway.
Yeah, whoever knows what they did, you're right.
I think they're definitely getting killed before the end of the series. They're not going to live through the series.
Unfortunately, I think you're right.
Yeah,
Except for Omega.
Yeah, she'll live, and hopefully she'll be in one of these live-action shows.
Oh, that'd be cool. I would like to see that. I know that we brought that up during season 1. We were talking about like how cool it would be to see her show up in live action one of these shows, but I think they're not going to be willing to do that, because obviously it'd be a huge giveaway. They probably want to keep that close to the chest, kind of hold off and be like, yeah, we'll reveal live action Omega later, much later. We'll give you access to her, but for the time being, hands off. Nobody's allowed to use her, because we want to kind of keep it open in the air. Like, this is our trump card. Like, will she live? Will she die? Who knows?
And it's more...
Got some mystery in Star Wars. You can't know what everything's coming.
Yeah.
It depends on how many seasons they're planning for the Bad Batch. If they're only planning 2, we may see a live action, Omega and Ahsoka, or Book of Boba Fett season 2, if there's going to be one, something along those lines. Rangers of the Republic with Hera, anything like that. We could see her, but you're right. If it's going to go 5 seasons,
Well, speaking of what Dave brought up a moment ago, where he said that Rex is going to be in this season, um, speaking of, since we're on the topic of what's next, do you guys think we're going to have any other, more famous Star Wars people showing up in the season other than Rex? Are we going to actually get? Is Ahsoka going to show up in this series at all? Are we going to get, Vader hunting the Bad Batch or something?
I don't think we'll get much Jedi stuff. We saw Kanan Jarrus in season one,
Hmm.
but I do think we could get someone along the lines of maybe Mon Mothma, maybe Leia's dad. I can't think of his name.
Bail.
Bail
Organa.
Organa. Yes,
Organa.
we may see something like that. But I
You
do
mean
think
Anakin, right? That's her dad.
Oh yeah. Her adopted dad.
You served my father in the Clone Wars. I never served Anakin.
Oh, no.
That little bitch, he served me.
That would have been the greatest line in Star Wars history. That little bitch served me.
The hell? They got their history screwed up.
Yeah, I'm just, it's nice because we got the entire seasons. What's it called? Where's my every
episode
every episode? We know what it's
Yeah.
titled. Like we know the next episode is the solitary clone,
Hmm.
which I'm assuming is Rex. I don't know if
Probably.
that's true. It could be another clone. But we got Faster, we got Entombed, we got Tribe, we got the Clone Conspiracy, Truth and Consequences,
Ooh.
which is a double episode. 7 and 8, releasing on February 8th. The Crossing, Retrieval, Metamorphosis. What kind is that? Something with Omega?
Turning into
the
a
out-
Jedi?
The Outpost, which makes me think they're going to be raiding maybe an outpost of the Empire to maybe do some good for a budding rebellion of any type. Pabu, Tipping Point, The Summit, which the Summit, if I remember correctly, was something in that Thrawn was using to store a bunch of stuff, but I can't remember. I'm going to have to look
That
that up.
sounds familiar.
And then Plan 99. So Plan 99 sounds like something with Clone Force 99, obviously,
You think?
to do something. Maybe it's almost a suicide mission. Maybe we're only going to get 2 seasons of the Bad Batch, and they're going out in a blaze of glory to help whatever rebels or someone who's going to stand up to the Empire. And they know they have to do this, and it's going to be, better the galaxy in the long run, but it's going to cost them their lives. But Hunter and Echo and Wrecker and everyone will not let Omega go. They'll be like, you can't come on this mission because we're not coming home. You have more to do. Go live with Bail Organa. Meet your stepsister Leia. Or, I'm kidding, it's not going to happen.
They're
But-
definitely way more parental so far in these 2 initial episodes. You can tell like they've really grown to care for her to the point where this is more than just No Man Left Behind. This is like, hey, nobody hurts our daughter, and we're gonna do whatever it takes. We're gonna go after her. We're gonna protect her. Even though we know that she's capable with that bow, look, Omega, you need to stay behind. This is too dangerous for you. You can't go after the war chief.
I was thinking that after the first few minutes when she fell out of the shuttle, and he was like, Omega! She's like, oh, I'm okay. But he he was really concerned. He was more concerned than just a teammate. He was concerned, well, that's our collective daughter or whatever. He had a lot of more parental concern.
That's our pet. That's our mascot. That's
Yeah.
oh, God.
She don't know those ships by the time she gets back in here, man.
Weird. So
know.
going back to that episode list, Keith, I just thought of the possible theory palooza for that.
Nice.
What do you think if the lone clone? What is that episode called?
The solitary clone, yes.
What if that's actually a Crosshair episode? What if we're going back, because if you remember,
Ooh.
in the the third episode of the first season, they tried to team him up and have him train stormtroopers, and even the first batch of stormtroopers were like, yeah, we're not killing women and children. He's like, a good soldier follows orders, and I think he killed those stormtroopers.
Yeah, he was by
Well,
himself at
couldn't
the end of
follow
the
the
season,
orders.
wasn't he?
Yeah. So I bet you any money he's going to still be. I bet you this is going to be a crosshair episode. And we're going to watch him teamed up with another batch of stormtroopers that he's, you know, he's the hardened clone trooper, and he's going to show them the way, and he's going to show them, I don't have a chip and I don't need one.
Do you think it could be him, knowing Clone Force 99 is still out there, even though the rest of the Empire believes him gone? And maybe having conflict with Rampart or probably not
Possible.
Tarkin. But I think he could be like, they're still out there. I know they're still out there. I was with them. They saved
I
me.
know them. I know they're not dead. Can't kill them that easy.
Who were the other clones that were on that planet with him in Rebels?
Oh, I don't remember their names now.
I do remember one of them that was sitting at the computer console in their thing. He brought up it was it Rex that had to like calm him down and be like, no, it's all over. The war's over. The one dude he was like, yeah, we had to get those Jedi traitors, and you could tell like Kanan was like, I don't like this. I don't like clones.
And he was just a little bit fried.
Yeah, a little on edge too. Pretty fried, a little on edge. Kind of, like the chip maybe didn't quite wear off in him.
Right. I'm going to look it up, see if I can find the clones that were on Rebels.
Okay.
Was one of them named Wolf or something? God, I'm trying to.
Yes, Wolf was one of them, with 2 F's and an E.
Of course. Like Tim with 2 M's.
Yeah. They don't know how to spell in space.
Space names.
Or maybe we don't know how to spell.
Yeah, maybe we are the problem. All right, we got Rex, Wolf, Gregor. Those were the 3.
Gregor. That was the one. I knew it was like a Game of
Gregor
Thrones
was one.
name.
Yeah.
Gregor.
Gregor.
I'm the only Scottish clone.
If it's not a clone, it's crap.
Crap!
So, are you two gentlemen excited for the season of The Bad Batch? Think it's gonna be pretty good?
I think
I
it'll
do.
be something to watch.
I'm kind of feeling that too. It's hard to follow up Andor with this because Andor was so good and it set the bar so high. Yeah, I agree. This will be fun to watch, but it'll be something to watch. But it's not going to engross me as much. I don't think.
You know, it depends on
Yeah,
where
I
they
know.
go with some of the storylines, who the guest stars could be, and how deep they get into how the Empire is ruining the galaxy.
Look, they better just kill someone quick. All right.
You know, we got from I thought it was a nice touch in the ruins of war when the guy on Dooku's planet was like, "You think he stole from other planets? He stole this all from us. You know, this is what they did to us, and this is what the Empire did, destroyed that entire city for really no reason." I mean, I think they're going to hopefully do a good job of showing how the Empire is ruining the daily lives of its citizens in the galaxy, and not just senators and all that other stuff. They're going to show that almost the same perspective that we got in Andor, only it's going to be a little more clones and all that other stuff. They won't do as good a job, don't get me wrong, but it could prove interesting where we see, because it's right after, or at least maybe a year out, depending on how much time has passed from season 1, from when the Galactic Empire was formed.
Dooku stole the war chest.
The war chest.
Okay, that's going to be our new mission. We need to bring somebody on, a host on, just from New Zealand. It doesn't matter how much they actually know about Star Wars. We just need them to make all of our Omega jokes.
I gotta tell you, that accent, still, it's weird. It hits my ear weird. I've heard other
A little
New
grating.
Zealanders speak, but it's weird. It just, I don't know. I wanted to see if that was actually Hector Elizondo. I'm looking it
I
up.
do have a different theory from Doug's, a theory palooza, as you will, about the solitary clone.
Okay.
It's
We
not
will.
going to be. It's not going to be Crosshair.
Oh.
It's going to be a clone going through the war chest all by himself, picking stuff out and dying. It's like, it's a diamond. Okay, let's mark that and put this in drawer 7. Okay,
Put this rest white dress.
we got some artwork for I don't know, just throw it in the corner. God, why am I doing that? Can't you hire someone else to help me with this?
What's
No,
that? The
get back
lieutenant's
to
coming
work.
by. He wants me to pull it all back out so he can go over the inventory list. Okay.
I didn't know working for the Empire was going to be like this. Gee. Oh, you know who's listed? Interestingly, the first person listed as the series cast, I'm sure it's by popularity, is Ming Na Wen.
Oh. Real.
Hopefully, we
She'll
get
be
a
in 2
little
episodes.
Fennec Shand in season 2.
That would be nice.
Maybe they'll have to work
Although
with
I'd
her.
like to see her in live action. They should make her live action and the rest of it a cartoon.
That wouldn't be weird at all. And have her just like walking in place
Yeah.
against a green screen.
Hey, they did it in Who.
We are going to the ship.
They did it in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They can do it in Star Wars. But I think we will see live action, Fennec Shand and maybe Mandalorian season 3, Ahsoka.
Probably.
I think she's definitely coming back because I don't think we've seen the end of Boba Fett, even if we don't get, season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett. He may show up and help Din Djarin with anything that they want to do on Mandalore.
Those were good episodes where he finally showed back up in The Mandalorian. Those were good episodes. I liked when he finally got his armor back and he polished it and he made it look all nice and like new. And I was like, oh, damn, all right, back to form. Got Boba Fett back. And then Woody was flying a ship and he used the same bomb that is the Jango Fett used. It was like, oh, that's cool. And then Book of Boba Fett, he got some Power Rangers, so I guess that was okay.
Well,
By the way,
come on.
that was Hector Elizondo.
Nice.
Okay.
Come on, he did more than that. He reflected on his life in a back to tank. There was so much that happened in the Book of Boba Fett.
Nothing happened until episode 5, where the Mandalorian.
But it was a Mandalorian episode.
They had Vespas driving around Tatooine. I mean,
Oh, right, we were on Tatooine again. Yes, our favorite planet.
we haven't gotten enough Tatooine in the Bad Batch yet. So let's hope a few
No, we do
episodes.
need some. We got to go on a mission for Jabba.
Oh, that would be interesting if they
Good old
did
clone mission.
For coffee.
go on
Jabba.
a mission for Jabba.
Oh, you know what would be a fun cameo? I doubt we would see it, but would be a fun cameo is if we got to see Han Solo back when he was still a soldier.
It would have to be a few more years in the future because I don't think he became a soldier. I don't know when that was. Post Revenge of the Sith, but that would be it. We should, because he was a soldier for over a year with the Empire, wasn't he?
Yep.
Trying to remember Solo now, so there could be, yeah,
And
that
there's
would
a 20
be,
year gap, right? Between those two movies, there's 20 years.
yeah. No, I think
Oh.
it's. No, I think you're right. Yeah, 20 because there's 15.
Well, because Luke and Leia were born, so they were 15 in A New Hope. I think they were like 20 in A New Hope.
Wait, so Obi-Wan was 10 years after Revenge of the Sith.
We know that Han was older than both of them.
Yep,
Yeah, and Leia was 10 years old in that series.
yep.
So it's 20 years between movies. So Han would be probably about this time, probably about 7 years old.
Also, something that I've been finding out about the Star Wars universe that I didn't realize, I was reading the synopsis of the game that we're going to be playing, and the main love interest for the main character of this game, they had mentioned that she took command of her first Imperial vessel at like 15 or whatever, and I started noticing that trend in Star Wars characters, especially like Imperial characters, is they take command at like early teens. Like, for instance, even actually going back to the Republic, Padme became a senator after she was done being queen at like 16 or something. With Mon Mothma, she said that she became a senator at like 15 or 16 or something like that. And it's like they're all taking like these major leadership positions in their early teens, and it makes me wonder, like, maybe in the Star Wars universe you're like considered an adult at like 13 or something, and that's when Han joined the army or something. Who
Yeah,
knows?
you have a little shorter life expectancy, maybe.
I guess.
Let's look here. One of the
You're looking up like when he joined.
No, I was hoping that we'd get so Solo happened around Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It was all around him.
Yeah, it was 20 years, Dave, you're right. Between Star Wars, The New Hope, and Revenge of the Sith. And then Rebels took place almost at the same time as Cassian Andor. It started a little earlier. Yep. And Solo happened at the same time as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like when he was in
Really?
the army, it was right before Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No kidding. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was at least 10 years after where we're at the Bad Batch right now, or like
Yep.
9 years after.
So that would put him right around the.
So Han's still a kid at this point.
Yeah, he'd be like 7 now.
Yeah.
You put him right around 20 at the time of Obi-Wan, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I believe so. Which would make him 30 by like A New Hope.
Well, he was the more veteran guy, you know. So
He was a scruffy nerf herder.
He was. Who you
Scruffy
calling?
looking.
Who you calling nerf herder? And don't forget to hit us up at Twitter, leave a comment down below, and we will see you next time on Not Your Status Quo.